Well, hopefully it's 32
we're good.
pages.
All right, good evening. Sorry about the delay. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you can ensure your cell phones are off or on silent, and council members, ensure your microphones are turned on. Just a reminder for the crowd and council, if you need to ask somebody a question, try not to make it fragmented so they don't have to get up and down and up and down. But if you are called on, I ask you to get up and walk to the podium. All right, today's a regular legislative meeting of Barberton City Council. It's May 27th, 2025. It is 6:04 p.m. Before our regular legislative meeting, we do have individual committee meetings this evening, and we'll start with City Properties, Parks, and Recreation with Mr. Easton.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's 6:04 in council chambers. Myself, Rebecca, and Justin are present, and other city council members and visitors as noted here. Topics of discussion, we have none, but we do have make a motion and vote to remove the ordinance to sell commercial property for appraised value. We kind of skipped phase one or step one, so need to make a motion to call for this to vote on it.
I'll make a motion to remove it, strike it from the agenda.
Thank you. Get a second?
Do you know what it is?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay. Chair, could you?
Yep.
fill in?
So we had a letter from Mr. Heidick actually a week ago. And it was asking that anything that was sold property-wise was sold at the appraised value and not what we think it should be or vice versa. The ORC actually has steps, and we kind of skipped step one to put that into
Okay.
ours. So we're backing it out.
To go back to do step
Mrs. Miller
one.
is going to send
Okay.
us step one, and we're going to start the process over again.
I'm okay with that.
So
I'll
that's why we're removing
Yeah.
it,
Okay.
just to unmuddy the waters, and we're going to start over.
Okay, thank you for
So
explaining
would you like
that.
to second that?
I'll second that,
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. So we call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So with that, we have no pending legislation or appointments at this time. Anything for miscellaneous discussion? There is, and I'll ask Mr. Shreve. There's an issue at Edgewood, correct, with the splash pads or something?
So,
Is
yeah,
that
so-
you? Can
so
you
there-
answer that?
There is, so it's plumbing in the pump house. They're evaluating it right now and seeing if it's something that we can replace in-house or if we have to hire a plumber.
Okay, so there is a possibility that we'll have a splash pad there this,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have every intention of repairing it and getting it running before the hot months of the summer.
awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
With that, any questions from the committee? Any from the body or the gallery? No? With that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. At that, 6:07, we adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Eastling. Next up is Public Welfare and Safety with Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call the Public Welfare and Safety Committee to order. It is 18:07. We are in council chambers. All members of my committee are present, including myself as chair, Mr. Easterling, co-chair, Ms. Gerhart, Mr. Greer. Other council members are present with the exception of Ms. Hager. All guests are noted on my sheet. We have one request for legislation. A letter from Chief Vincent Morber of the Barberton Police Department requesting legislation to appropriate $57,000 from the unappropriated budget of the general fund to the Police Department capital budget for the purchase of an outfitted Ford Explorer. Emergency wording requested, and we'll be referring this to finance also. Did everybody see the request and what we would be purchasing? It's a 2023 Ford Police Interceptor. It's fully outfitted. It's got 27,500 miles on it, new tires, new windshield. It's got light bars, push bumpers, the cage, all that good stuff. Any questions on it? Yes, sir.
Does that cost include, we painting it, or we gotta?
We would probably send it to the graphics place for the small amount of graphics we put on them to market, which would probably be, I don't know, maybe $1,000 or so. I'm not sure what it's costing now. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know if the driver was insured?
That I don't know. Mrs. Eisman? Can you step up, please?
She doesn't, Mrs. Eisman does not have a voice right now. So she said she's not aware. If they were covered, our insurance would go after them for subrogation. If they aren't covered, we would have uninsured motorist coverage. So I can't tell you specifically which car this is and which accident it was, because our poor officers' cars have been targets of late. Not on purpose, but I mean,
Right.
you know, things just happen.
Yeah. Thanks. I was just curious. Obviously, we need to have it replaced. I just.
In talking to the chief, I think this is the second or third time this actual car has been hit. And this most recent one was hit when it was hit by an OVI driver. So, a drunk driver.
Yep. Yeah, now I remember which one.
Now you remember. Mr. Heidick?
Thank you, Chair. You are correct. I talked to Chief today. That is the second time this one's been
Yeah.
whacked. He said if this passes, because of all the outfitting and whatever we would need to do, it would be in service within 2 weeks. So
Right.
it's not like we're ordering a brand new one. It's going to take months. He said it's ready.
Yeah, we'll get the graphics on it, it'll be ready to go.
Yep.
Mr. Greer?
Thank you, Chair. Just curious, if this car was hit, did they have their lights on? Was it parked? Was it driving?
That I don't know, I don't have the details of the accident.
Yeah, that's not how these accidents happen. So, for example, Brandon, K-9 officer Brandon Watson was driving and gets hit. Like, it's not
Okay.
an emergency situation where we've pulled over or anything. Typically, our accidents with cruisers are involved in, you know, I mean, things that just happen to normal people who drive every day. You know, someone accidentally hits you at a light or something like that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Director. I was just wondering if it was like hit on the side of the road or something. All right, thank you, Chair.
Any other questions regarding this? Can I get a motion to call for it?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get
I'll
a second?
second.
Did somebody second that?
I'll second.
Mr. Easterling did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion passed. We have nothing else. We have any miscellaneous discussion? Anything from the gallery? No? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 18:11 hours.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Next up is Rules, Marketing, and Development. Ms. Gerhart.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to bring the Rules, Marketing, and Development Committee to order. It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. It is 6:11 p.m. and we are in council chambers. All members of my committee are present, including myself as chair, Mrs. Beck as co-chair, Mr. Heidick, and President Greer. All their council members are present with the exception of Mrs. Hager and others as noted on my sheet. We are going to start working on getting the proposed charter amendments.
I'm just gonna stand here, because I have a feeling someone might be asking me some questions.
We're going to work on getting these passed through my committee tonight. So, I'm very thankful to Lori for giving me this handy guide where I have a yes and no on each page. Thank you. So, the first one we have is under Article 1, Section 1.01. The Charter Commission proposed adding the words "or detach." Can I get a motion for this to be?
motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now be going to, we're in Article 3, Section 3.04. Commencing with the, this is from Mr. Heidick, commencing with the general election in the year 2027, the mayor shall be limited to 3 consecutive terms. Can I get a motion for this?
Chair?
I'm sorry, yes.
Can I just clarify that these are being brought out to be voted on in miscellaneous? They're not being brought to the floor? Is that correct?
I'm just putting, this is just for my committee.
Right, so this is just going to the floor?
Yeah.
And then council will have a floor vote,
Correct.
unofficial floor vote, to then see which ones we want to submit as a resolution back to you.
Mr. Heidick, as a member of my committee,
Yeah, I just wanted to make it known.
could
like-
explain that better if we needed it to be, but you have it figured out.
All right, thank you.
Back to commencing with the general election. Can I give a motion for this one?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The next one was proposed by,
Did you vote?
can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next one, I would like to take out about having the budget by a certain date, and I'd like to go with Mr. Heidick's, suggestion of making that an ordinance, so I can cross this out. Okay, next we would be in Article 4. The commission is wanting to, take out the part about you have to live in the city of Barberton to work here, basically.
And that's consistent with an Ohio Supreme Court case.
I was gonna say, I
Yep.
think it's against the law, so we need it out of our charter for that reason. Can I have a motion on that one?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Department of Public Service, further down in the paragraph, this is, they shall manage and control constructions, site stormwater runoff control, post-construction, this whole addition to their job description.
It's a clarification that stormwater is underneath service. Stormwater was never included in the charter, and the commission felt that it was important and should be included under the duties of the service director. That's how it came in there.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion?
And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Further down on the list, under 4.02A, qualifications, this is talking about the bachelor's degree and just the qualifiers that they would like for this position. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we are still within Article 4, and this is to eliminate the Division of Building Inspection. Can I get a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Ms. Garrett, so
Yes.
that one went with an alternate, so then you don't need a vote on the alternate.
That is correct.
Okay.
So the next part under C is that the department, so the service director will be appointing the director of public service, and this will then be a classified position. Can I have a motion?
Did I hear that?
Or can I better explain it?
You said service and service.
The service director will be appointing the director of public service,
No, engineering.
engineering. Oh, sorry, there's a typo.
Wonder why he'd appoint himself.
Well, that's one way to get a job. Sorry, there was a typo. And it will be a classified position. Can I have a motion for this?
Motion?
In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Thank you. So again, the public, our service director would then have the ability to appoint the utilities, superintendent of utilities. And it would become a classified position. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. In a second?
Second?
Thank you.
Vote.
Don't forget to vote.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then coming down, I believe we're still, nope, we're in 4.03. The commission has requested we add the qualifications for the Director of Public Safety. Can I have a motion for this?
Motion?
In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So the next one has kind of one in conflict. It's proposed to be added under the Director of Public Safety, that they are in charge of human resources. Further ahead in our packet, though, under Section 4.06, the Department of Human Resources, this stands outside of the Public Safety Director, and this would then be appointed by the Civil Service Commission.
What is the section you're under?
So,
It's page 14. I don't know, I think we have the same page numbers.
It's right there.
mine bumped a little,
Oh,
so
sorry.
thank you. 14.
It's directly above the words Article 5, Council.
So I'm asking my committee to move forward with separating this role out from under the Public Safety Director. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion?
In a second?
I'll second.
Okay, before you vote. So, if I understand, I am removing that on page 10, section B. I'm removing that section and moving it to the Civil Service Commission?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay, you can vote now. I just want to make sure.
Can I have a vote for that? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving back over to page 10, this has it completely separated out as a division of public information and having a director of public information. I believe that this just needs to be a description under the director of public safety. They would then handle any time that we need somebody to come out and speak on public information versus an entirely separate role. So can I have a motion for that, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Before you vote, so I'm looking at page
10,
page 9,
page 9.
where it says Department of Public Safety. You want that stuff to be, sorry, that's a bad, not a good word. You want it moved under like the unnumbered section where it says they shall make all necessary rules and regulations. You want it under there? Okay. Got it.
Baby,
Thank you.
did-
I just want to make sure.
No problem. Baby, did you second that? I'm sorry.
He didn't yet.
Okay, sorry.
No, because I believe that should be created by ordinance, that position, not in the charter.
I don't think it's a position, though. I think it's just, since we already have the Director of Public Safety in here and what they do, this just belongs under their role. It's one person.
So if I may, if you look at Division of Public Information, and it says the responsibilities shall include, I'm
That's the
asking
part.
you, you want just the word starting the responsibilities, ending with classified position, well, that would come out, you just want the duties under the safety director, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Right, is it still including Director of Public Information?
No.
No, just the duties.
Just
As
the
I
duties.
understand it, she'll say, so if you look at the green, you would take out the first sentence, the second sentence, and part of the third sentence and start with the responsibilities shall include, and I would add that to this section under Department of Public Safety.
Got it. Second.
Thank you. I appreciate you understanding that before you vote also. Can I have, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So on page 10, the first paragraph that's in green will be moved to the duties of the Director of Public Safety, and the second paragraph will be removed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, I am now over in Department of Finance, 4.04. The Director of Finance shall have the following minimum qualifications. This was an addition suggested by the commission. Can I have a motion for this?
Make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Up next, the Director of Law, minimum of 5 years in the practice of law, and we are asking that they have received no sanctions for disciplinary violations. Can
So
I
that
have,
would be not the yellow, but adopt the green.
don't we want them both?
Well, it just is repetitive, so I can, that's why I repeated, the practice of law in the state of Ohio with a minimum of 5 years of the practice of law shall have received no sanctions for
So I want to get rid of yellow, and I just want us to vote
Yep,
on green.
got it.
Yes. Can I have a motion for the green part?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then we are at the law director may make editorial corrections which shall be approved by resolution of city council. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we'll skip the next part, we already did it. Now we are coming down to Article 5, Council. This is proposed. I believe this was just to eliminate, they want to take it down and just have 6 members. So I believe this was discussed, the elimination of at-large. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Top of the next page, President of council shall be limited to 3 terms. Excuse me. Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
I know you're following along. There's kind of 2 votes to be taken under council? Or just 1?
So, the green portion is term limiting council members, so you
Right.
can
Above
adopt
that, though, I have at the general
Right,
elections, is that?
so that is the whole issue about if you're gonna eliminate it large and we have only president and council, I'm not complaining, I'm gonna have to draft language, because right now, if you adopted this, we would have an election of just the president of council, which we would have to pay for. And so we were saying we would do those with council, ward council people, but it's gonna take some additional writing because we're gonna have to stagger that. So that's So you can adopt it, I'll just have to craft language.
So you already have to fix all the language in here.
I do.
Should I adopt it or just know that that's
Well,
part
no,
of?
that's term limits, that's totally separate.
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
to that next.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
didn't want to miss something.
Nope, we're good.
Okay. President of council should be limited to 3 consecutive terms. Can I have a motion for
I'll make
this?
that motion.
Ooh. I feel like you've waited all night for that, Mr. Greer. Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are now in section 5.07. I believe this is still going back to how you would have to word things, Mrs.
Right,
Miller?
and they're saying that it would go into effect 2029. So again, if council ultimately adopts the elimination of at large, we're gonna have to finagle the president of council to stagger it for a 2- and 4-year term so that it aligns with council at large. And that's all that section does, because
Okay.
that was their suggestion, and I wrote that in there just to make sure everyone understood that other things would change.
Okay, but this is still just part of,
That is the explanation of what I just said.
Okay.
So you don't have to adopt that.
okay. So, and if we eliminate that, that's what's going to change our vote number in the next paragraph?
Correct.
Do I need to adopt that?
Yes,
Okay.
you adopted the first, so you'll adopt this, and then if it goes to, when it goes to all of council, if there's other alternative discussion, we can X and create that later.
Okay, so, again, this is with the commission recommendation for getting rid of the at-large, reducing our council size. We would only need affirmative vote of 4. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, and a second?
Second?
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public notice, this was basically updating where things are posted.
It would eliminate posting,
Eliminate posting.
right, because, or.
Like physical
Or council
posting.
can craft a rule that requires posting, but right now, we are required to post physical copies of ordinances and resolutions in certain places, and that's just not how government functions at this point. So you figure in 1979, when they created this, it was probably a great idea, because other people wouldn't have access to it, and we had it all over town.
Okay. So eliminating the postings. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And to be clear, council can still require it to be posted. This is just saying that it's not required in the charter. You guys can decide how you want things disseminated. But typically, we're doing it all online. People are getting it on either the social media site of the city or on the internet, just looking at council agendas.
So eliminating this is basically eliminating the physical postings
Right,
of
it
it.
says, except that if public posting be selected as the medium, which we had, not less than 6 public places in the municipality shall be established for public posting. And that's when Mr. Heidick just amended that ordinance because one of the places that was in our rules ordinance does not exist. So,
Okay. Okay. Next page, vacation or sale of park property. They're wanting to eliminate the 2/3 vote and say by a simple majority. Do I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next page, this is saying, shall review said plan every 5 years and may revise it. And this is regarding our master plan. Can I have a motion to call for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next page. So a division of property maintenance and zoning inspection, there shall be within the planning department under the direction of the director of city planning, a division of property maintenance and zoning inspection. Can I have a motion to call for this?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Heidick, with the economic development manager, that was kind of discussed just to have that person in the planning department, and that would not put it in our charter that way?
Create the position by ordinance, yes.
Okay. Thank you for summing that up better. Okay, so I'd like to eliminate that, and we can do that with an ordinance. The next page,
Well, there is in 602,
I'm sorry, yes,
Section A, that if I believe you voted out of committee, the elimination on page 8 of the Division of Building Inspection and the Building Commissioner.
Correct.
And that deletes the Building Commissioner from whatever that is, Board of BZBA.
yes,
So you need to, I need to vote on that.
pardon me.
Can you have vote on that?
Yep, that's what I was getting
Okay.
to.
Oh, sorry.
It was at the top of the next page, but
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what context it was in. So everything that Mrs. Miller just said, taking out the building commissioner from being part of the BZBA. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Coming down to section 6.03, the Parks and Rec Commission. So,
As a suggestion, I would suggest that you handle this in two ways. The first part is the committee membership, the commission membership, which is 3 and 2, 3 by the city, 2 by the Board of Education. They're eliminating the Board of Education positions. So that would take care of 603A if you voted on that first.
okay.
Okay.
Everybody heard Mrs. Miller. Can I get a motion for eliminating the Board of Election members?
Board of School.
Board of School. What did I say? Board
School
of
Board.
Elections.
Board
Board of
Election.
Education, sorry.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. In a second.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then I believe the second part is basically you're changing the duties around so that the commission does not have like the power, they're just advisory?
That's exactly correct. And then if you go down to qualifications, that it shall be appointed by the mayor in accordance with civil service provisions. So right now, the Parks Commission hires and manages the Parks Director, and that was removed to have it be advisory only, and the mayor, and he reports to the mayor, or she.
Okay. Can I get a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. In a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So is this a three-part, or are we done with Parks and?
If you delete A, you substitute new A, so you could do those together.
Okay, so we've already voted on everything for this then?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on 604, I moved. Yes, you did C, I think. So I just flipped to the next page, sorry, 604.
Perfect. Next up is eliminating the Board of Health. Can I have a motion for this?
I will make that motion.
In a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any board or commission that requires representation by the city of Barberton, the mayor shall appoint a member with confirmation by a majority of council. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. In a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So those are, so this
The
down.
last line of B1 needs to be considered separately than the elimination of C.
The last, correct. So they're basically saying, provided such rules and regulations are approved by council, so they no longer need to be approved by council.
Established by the law.
Okay. Can I have a motion for this?
I will make that motion.
Thank you. And this-
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next section that we're taking out is slew of random commissions that we must have had in the past. Wrestling, air pollution, traffic, plumbing. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. In a second?
Second?
Thank you.
Rebecca, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Gerhart. So what A, the little sentence at A replaces kind of that whole paragraph, and it just says, because these, for example, Metro requires a representative from the city of Barberton, it requires it. So do those other ones, I imagine. So A just says that any board that requires representation by the city of Barberton, the mayor shall appoint a member with confirmation by council. So if you remove C, it's A was the replacement, so to speak.
Kind of covers them all that way.
Any commission, right, any board or
Okay.
commissioning is required, or she is required to appoint someone to represent
Okay.
the city.
Okay. Oh, term limits.
You gotta vote.
Oh, was everybody in favor?
You moved in second, I didn't hear you vote, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'd like everybody to vote again. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Moving on. 607, term limits for board and commission members. And it looks like we have
It would be new 608.
new 608. Thank you. Sorry, this green highlight is
I
still a
know,
little
and
hard
listen,
on my
I
eyes.
wrote a note that the next draft will only have one color of highlights, and it will be a different color so we don't mess it up, and I will make sure you can read it this time.
Thank you. So our new 608, term limits for boards and commissions. Can I have a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The new 609, video broadcasting and recording. All boards and commissions within Article 6 of the Charter shall be video broadcasts, recorded, and published for the public by the city in its entirety. I know conversation about this, Mr. Heidick, was maybe not be video, but audio. Could we put a slash or an either or? Or, Mrs. Beck?
Sorry, let him reply.
I'm fine with either just audio or either or. I'll let the committee, the rest of the committee decide if we want to amend that.
Because I know the concern was if it's a not too pleasant conversation, maybe not having the video available for the public. Can I have a motion to call for this?
Amended or straight, the same? as it is?
Amended.
Okay.
Amend it to
Video / audio.
Audio and or video?
video and or audio?
Yep, I can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Miller, how would you go about summing up Article 7?
And I apologize that I'm standing over, the air is blowing right there, and I'm a baby apparently. So,
It's cold in here.
Article 7, nominations and elections, basically, it does. It substitutes partisan elections with primaries with nonpartisan.
Okay,
That's the intent
perfect.
of the whole thing.
All right, can I have a motion for this?
A motion.
In a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that takes us all the way to Article 8, correct, Mrs. Miller?
Article 8. Do we have I don't think we have anything in Article 8, but.
But I mean, like, that's where we are and,
Okay,
and
yep.
think we made it through 7.
I don't have a change until 11.09.
Okay, 11.09.
The yellow, the Charter Commission added that section to be compliant with what is the actual law right now. It's 121.221.
Perfect.
And then the green are you guys.
Okay. Can I have a motion for calling for adding the 121.221?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Top of the next page, 11.10, prohibiting elected officials' names on public property or signage. Again, I know there was questions Can you still put up your political signs? Absolutely. This is just putting it on city property, especially at the cost of taxpayers. Can I have a motion for this?
I had an extra question about that. Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question?
Sure.
So we're all sitting in front of or behind our nameplates, city property, that city, like, where's the line on this? Like, I've been pondering this one for a long time.
Mr. Heidick?
To Councilor Beck's point, this is another one that if we feel it needs to be defined, it needs to be an ordinance, not in the charter.
Perfect. Let's put it in ordinance. I'll cross that one off. 12.2, Charter Review Commission shall appoint no later than last day of January. No more than 4 of who are members of the same political party taken out. And I believe getting it to council by the 3rd Monday in April.
Correct. And
Okay.
then that you're required to hold a public hearing within 30 days of the submission of the recommendations. And the removal of the political party issue is, if the nonpartisan thing goes through, then I think they felt that was consistent.
Okay, can I have a motion for that?
A motion?
In a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I believe that's all we have for this.
Yep, I just
Okay.
wanted to also tell you, again, the next draft will have a different color, and I will make sure that you can read it, only so that we aren't confused, so that we know that this is the one that was voted out of committee. Second, I did speak to, about, do we have to do all these separately on the ballot? We definitely could, but apparently that would make the Board of Elections very angry, because as you can see, there's probably 25 or more every section. You can have, I'm not asking you to decide, I'm just giving you information. You can do it all or nothing. Here's everything we have, vote all together. So that's a choice that you all have. So I'm sure that you guys know there's a thing called ballot fatigue, right? So if you had 30, they might get to about 12 and then just be tired. That's not a thing about charter amendments, it's a thing about elections as a whole. So it's just an option. I'm not telling you what to do. Yes, oh, sorry.
Got a question.
Mr. Easterling?
Can they be grouped into at least things that are similar?
No, I think it's either
all
all,
or
it's
nothing?
all separate or all together.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I don't like that.
That's a bad, it's not,
You know how much is coming out. You guys. Right. There could be 5 things. Oops, sorry.
raise your hand, sir.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Thompson?
Thank you. I feel like if this is something to be all grouped together, having things on there such as term limits, going nonpartisan, and removing 2 council members and reducing the representation of our citizens, that's gonna be a problem. I think it's too much at once to all be together.
Mr. Heidick?
Thank you, Chair. At the next legislative meeting, we're going to be calling them, taking a vote individually, so if things that don't meet the 6 of 8 threshold don't get that vote.
Oh, of course, I
they're
was
getting
just,
thrown
as
out
an
anyway.
example.
So, once that's done, then we have plenty of time to decide.
It will be, if you accept it all, it will be 35 charter amendments.
But at that point, like I said, we're going to either whittle it down as a whole.
That's
or
correct.
keep them all. So bear that in mind, that this isn't, all we've done was just send it to make sure everybody gets a say.
Sure.
So we'll have plenty of time to decide which way to go after that.
And we can't even change the things like, you said charter added the 1.0222 because they just have to, or us taking out you have to live in the city. That's already illegal. We can't just, that has to be voted on? It already has to be taken out, though. It's illegal.
It has to be voted on.
Okay. There's no way to
I mean,
clump.
there's things that you can have in a charter that aren't applicable anymore, but you probably shouldn't have them. Those should probably just not be in there.
And we can't clump any of those together.
It's an all or nothing.
Okay.
So it's either, now, I said 35 because I just counted the okays, because I wrote okay next to one. So if you guys reject as a whole 15 of them, it'll only be 15, and maybe you feel okay about doing an all or nothing. It just, I should have never said anything until you got to the end, but I wanted to give you information so you kind of knew.
It's good to have It's good to know that, though, so thank you for sharing, Mrs. Beck.
That was gonna be my thing, let's cross the bridge, let's cross the bridges that we need to cross now and cross those later, but keep them back here.
Okay. Any other, Mr. Greer?
Thank you, Chair. I want to stress this again, because from the outside looking in, this may look like the committee is doing normal business, and that's going to the floor. Everything that was voted on today, and correct me if I'm wrong, I understand this now, but is going to go to a miscellaneous section of our, it's not actually going to be voted on like red, right? So it's just bringing all of this stuff in front of everybody. There's just so much on here, it needs to be filtered down. And to do it in committee, it's, committee probably don't feel that it's fair that committee's going to be the one whittling it down and not council. So this is
So we
putting
wanted
it in
to-
front of council
Correct.
to whittle it down together rather than just in committee.
We wanted to bring it to all of council. That's why nothing failed in
Yeah,
my
so-
committee.
Correct. But from the outside, I just wanted to clarify, from the outside looking in, it may just be like, oh, they're just passing everything out of the committee. This is not a normal
No.
call to the
No.
floor. This is just to put it in front of everybody.
This is to put it in front of everybody, because we feel it's very important that everybody's talking about this and voting on it, and those conversations are being had not just within my committee.
All right, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make that super, super clear.
Yeah.
I'll say it again if I
No.
have to, but.
If even hearing who was motioning and seconding, they were
Yeah,
just
but again,
helping
from the
get it
outside
through
looking in,
our committee,
it's not
yeah.
normal.
Well, I mean, it's really no different than any other thing that's called out of committee. You call it out of committee so all of council has the opportunity to discuss it. So it's very much in line, but there were some deletions and those will come out in a different color that is able to be read.
And since our conversation today showed, you know, there's some things that are just going to be ordinances,
Right,
not
I'll take
charters, so
those out,
those are
yep.
going to help reduce some of the conversation also. Is there any more conversation about this? What, Mrs. Thompson?
Thank you. I apologize, I know I'm not on your committee. I did write it down here, I just don't want to forget when we do talk about this as a group. When it comes to the broadcasting and recording, after thinking about this, being that I used to be chair of planning, attended many BZBA meetings, I do worry a little bit about safety of the board members because I mean, these people are deciding that, you know, your home's gonna get demolished. You know, so as far as having that, I mean, the meetings are obviously open to the public and the homeowner will be there, but I don't know if, for that particular board, if this is a good idea for that. So just something to consider whenever it's up for discussion. I just wanted to say it now.
So maybe putting in there, what you might be recommending is with the exception of the BZBA.
That's just my suggestion. Others might feel differently. I just think it's, you know, something to think about.
Sure. Mr. Heidick?
I believe that, thank you, Chair, I believe that problem's solved by doing the and/or audio, because I think it's still important that the audio of a BZBA meeting is accessible, at least on the city website, because somebody might, if somebody can at least listen to it, they might learn, okay, they might have something coming up on their property and might learn something hearing it, instead of, the minutes are just so condensed, and they're not really official minutes until they're approved a month later. So the and/or audio gives them the option of just doing the audio.
One of the suggestions, because I've certainly heard from a variety of council members, is that one of the issues, both with parks, BZBA, and planning, actually, is the meeting occurs so early. Whereas you guys have a legislative meeting at 7 o'clock at night, right? So people can go to work, come home, gather themselves, and come here if they choose. And that option isn't really available right now for those other meetings. They're scheduled primarily at 5:30 or earlier, and that does not invite public participation. So one alternative is that we ask those commissions, which you have the authority to do, to not schedule them that early. So then you could have much more public participation because they would be able to be here at 7 o'clock. I'm just putting that out there.
I agree with that.
It's just an alternative.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
But they don't have to take that, right? Because, I mean, we
Well,
learn,
you could pass an ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't, okay. There was just something recently we would have wanted to have attended and we couldn't because of the planning of it.
Right. And again, that was Charter Commission, right? And they chose, here, I can tell you from my experience sitting there, and I sat at every one of them, their thoughts were, there's a security folks here this night, and they should have it then. And, you know, not for nothing, it was at 6, so everyone who didn't have a meeting, committee meeting, could have walked over there, but they chose not to, right? And, you know, no one wanted to have it at 5:30, that's too early, right? So that was kind of their thought. Everyone's here on Monday, you would have the opportunity to just go to the meeting if you felt like it, and security was already here at that time, later in the evening, because they don't stay that late every night of the week.
Yeah.
Security, front door security.
Yeah. It's just a challenging one. Like, even if you try to go to all of these, I mean, it's a lot to add to everything.
Once a month for each of them, assuming that they continue.
And if you want to attend the non-city ones,
Right.
yeah. So, I don't know. I kind of like having the ability to go back and listen to it, though, in case you can't make one. So, but we'll keep talking about it and figure out. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Any other thoughts about this from the body, from the gallery? Did I make one big motion, or did I make enough little motions? Like, do we just go on to the next matter?
Moving on.
Moving on. I like it. Okay. So then I have a request from legislation from Councilman Heidick, Councilman at Large, requesting legislation to amend 1060.02 B7 of the Barberton Codified Ordinances to state that all trash and recycle containers must be removed from the city right-of-way and be relocated to a minimum of 5 feet from the residential structure the day following trash pickup. Failure to do so will be no more than $20 fine. Emergency wording and one reading is requested. So currently we have all trash containers and receptacles must be removed from the city right-of-way within 24 hours of trash pickup. This is adding it, beefing it up some that we want it moved back further away. Correct, Mr. Heidick?
3 feet from the city right-of-way, like Director Shreve said, is the city right-of-way is up front. I pull it back 3 feet and it's in the middle, so it's in front of somebody's yard still.
Right.
You know, I think it's high time we start cleaning up the city a little bit and just pull it back. Your residential structure, pull it back. You know, that's a garage, that's a shed, that's your house. Pull the damn thing off the street, out of your yard, pull it back. And if I remember correctly, a month ago, did I not say something needs to be in front of us by May 27th?
I like someone sticking to their deadlines. Thank you.
Well, here, what's today? May 27th.
I'm sorry.
So, go ahead.
That rule would be consistent with the rule on fencing. So that, I copied on the draft, we copied it from the rule on fencing and the development code. Right, Mr. Best, it's not to be, yeah. So we just use that language. That's how I got it, so.
So my question then next is a result of no more than $20 fine. Like you could get fined $20 a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's $20, like, I know we wanted some teeth here. Is this good teeth? What about 50? I mean, like, is 20 gonna
No, I mean,
get you bringing it in?
I think it's an annoying enough number that if you get it 2 weeks in a row, you're eventually gonna get the hint.
Gotcha. Okay. Those were my questions. Mrs. Beck?
Quick question. Also, when we were talking about this last time, Mr. Shreve, you were saying that basically you get a warning, like nobody ever really got a ticket for just pulling it in and off of their devil strip or the right-of-way. So this would kind of not really be any sort of like warning system, right? Like you would be, here's your ticket.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's how it's written.
Yeah, the idea was to have it, I'm using my words, to be in the form of like a parking ticket. So it's appealable. There's a method to appeal it if you feel like it was given an error. And parking tickets are appealable, so that's the idea that was presented to me, and that's what I drafted.
Okay. I like it. Mr. Easterling?
Would we just send notice and water bills, or, what, how are we gonna spread the word?
That's been proposed a few times. Mr. Shreve?
More than
Mr.
once.
Flaker?
Mr. Flaker?
I mean, it depends on how they want to get the word out. If they want to do an insert, yeah, we would have to just contact our bill printer, do an insert, and just let them know to get that in the insert. So,
We just, Mayor, what was the insert that she just had? I can't remember. It was about getting your utility bill online and paperless billing. So that was an insert. So if you remember that, that was a sample of what something we could do.
Mrs. Beck?
Still have a question. So this is how we would let people know about it, through an insert, like you have to bring your trash can within 5 feet of your house or structure. So how are they getting the ticket, the $20 fine? Like, how are they getting that notification? Have we thought about that?
Mr. Heidi did.
So are you saying who's ticketing them?
Well, that's
how?
gonna be the second part of the question, I suppose, but like, do we knock on their door, here's your ticket, or do we mail it? How's it?
You stick it right on their bin.
Yep.
Oh,
They have to open it to throw trash in, they'll see it. You stick it over it, so they have to basically break it open just to put their trash in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, just I don't know.
Jared, one thing I really didn't want, and I apologize, I know there's questions, but the last time we talked about trash cans, we spent a damn half an hour to 45 minutes on trash cans. Let's solve it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate your efforts. This is just making sure everybody has
I understand.
clarity and understanding it. Mr. Harris?
I'm going to make one statement, and it comes down to enforcement. If you don't have enforcement, you don't have this. Bottom line. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
I would check on placing, I understand the concept of placing a ticket or a sticker on the trash can, but those do not belong to the residents, they belong to the trash company. So when there's I don't know if we're permitted to do that, I just don't know. New contractor comes in, new trash company, they take the trash cans out, they supply new ones. So I'm not sure if that's even talked about in the contract we have with them. I just don't know, but I would be cautious of sticking anything on there. If you've been to college, you know that that's how they do their tickets on the side of the driver's side window. And it takes a lot of effort to get that off because there's a lot of adhesive there. So if someone gets ticketed, they take it off, are they going to be able to take it all off? Or is there another way to do that? I'm not sure, so.
There's something else too. They had road construction, a water main or something broke. I got the wrong trash can. So say if I would have got, and I don't know who it was, they just gave me a trash can, that's what I used. But say if that had a sticker on it. So I don't know. There's always pros and cons, but there's always other things that can.
Right.
I
Each
think we're
trash
on the
can
right
is each
track.
trash can is assigned a number assigned to your account. So if it's not your trash can, I mean, that would be the outlier on the examples that they're giving.
Okay.
Which is why you can,
Well, not my number, okay. I don't even know what number I have. I never paid that much on a trash can. Who cares?
but that's why you could appeal it.
Oh, right,
Here
okay.
we go again, another half an hour discussion.
Mr. Shreve, going to what Mr. Harris just said as far as enforcement would be, like, what are your thoughts on how that would be handled?
So I mean,
Not the sticker part,
yeah,
whatever we come up with that method, but
Well-
just how to do it.
so Mr. Tavecki and I are just back here discussing, is $20, does $20 cover the cost? Getting in a car, driving out there, it's the far end, north end of town, we're putting a ticket on the can, the door, whatever, driving back to the next job, like, is $20 even gonna cover the actual cost of us applying the ticket? So I mean, those are some things that should probably be taken into account also while you're thinking about what the fine should be. But I mean, also, again, you have to have revenue to have the amount of employees to cover the entire city. So, I mean, if the revenue's there and we have the amount of employees and we're able to fill our work orders and make sure that the department is running efficiently and we're getting everything else done along with ticketing trash cans, then absolutely. I mean, we'll make that priority if that's the priority that we want to see. But again, you have to have the bodies to cover the whole city. And again, I feel like you should make sure that the costs are being covered with the
Yeah.
funds.
And I definitely think, you'd almost need somebody working an entire ward, ticketing everything, not driving out, like you said, the north side of town for one ticket to drive back. Like, I would just start looping the blocks and ticketing everybody while you're there to save yourself the mileage, but I don't know that we have enough people.
Again, so I guess that it depends on the direction of the manager of that department and how they want to make
Yeah.
their focus.
Okay.
I mean, you're voting in the charter to add property maintenance to planning. So it's planning and zoning. So what all exactly are they going to be looking at, if you're combining those departments, where they're two separate departments currently?
Correct. Okay. Mrs.
I
Beck?
have a suggestion.
Just kind of hit me, I know not every single street is swept, but since the street sweeper is going out in the daytime now, could this be a task the street sweeper could also do? Since they're not ticketing cars anymore for being on the street in the day.
I mean, you're
No.
talking though,
I mean,
stopping, writing an address down, so I mean, you're
True, I was just
sweeping,
kinda
stop,
spitballing.
write down, sweep, stop,
Okay,
write down.
first of all, that doesn't matter because they have no authority
Yeah.
to do that. So
Oh,
the
just
street
ticket
sweeper
them.
has no authority to do that.
I think that was police.
What I was gonna say is that I have been here in this office for nearly 20 years, and I was here before as the HR director. This trash can issue is consistent, and this is the first solution, right? Number one. Number two, Councilman Harris can tell you that, you don't have to ticket every single trash can throughout the city every single time, right? When you do speeding enforcement on a street, it sends a message on that street, right? If you do parking enforcement downtown, people eventually get the idea you can't park overnight downtown. It's the same philosophy. So respectfully, you do not have to ticket every trash can across the city every single time they leave it out. That's not what we do with anything, right? We don't ticket every speeder. We just don't do that. You do it in a philosophical way that you think will be effective. And that's set by the tone of the administration.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shreve. I like that I'm sorry, Mr. Greer.
I just want to make sure that the wording on this is correct. It was brought, in my dyslexia is kicking in here, and it's confusing. Shouldn't it be a maximum of 5 feet from a residential structure instead of minimum? Minimum would say you can't put it closer than 5 foot, correct? So it would be a maximum of 5 foot from a residential, meaning it needs to be within 5 feet of the residential structure.
A minimum of 5 feet. Oh, yeah, I see what
The
you're
way it's written, it says from a residential structure. Now, you could change it to say minimum of 5 feet from the right of way.
No, that would.
That puts it back
Then
in the
you
middle of the
put it
front
in
yard.
Two more feet.
So I just wanted, it was brought up and just wanted to point it out. If
I do think you're
We relocated to a minimum of 5 feet from the residential structure. So it's basically, we want it within 5 feet of your house versus the right of way?
No, a minimum means that you could put it farther away than 5 feet. This means a minimum, I think it'd be a maximum of 5 feet
You could put it at
away.
20 feet.
Would it just
Maximum.
be what you said, within 5 feet of your house? Within instead of
Simple.
maximum?
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that within. Good catch. I did. Let's do within.
Sure.
You want it closer to the house?
Yes, further
Okay.
from the right of way.
Just a point of contention, when a trash can catches on fire, it catches the siding on fire and loses the house, you're not gonna want it closer to the house. The way these houses are being built now, they're built with vinyl siding. And as soon as that fire starts, I've been on at least a dozen that turn from trash cans and go up in the stove and find the $1 million house that they lost because of a trash can fire. Because it rolled right up the house, got to the roof, and burnt the place to the ground.
Oh, no.
You want it farther away from the house, okay? Just
How would you word it to get it farther from
Well, if
the
you
right of way,
want to put it at your house.
but not too close to the house?
Yeah, that's what you want to be careful what you're doing, because people are going to want to put it right next to the house, and that's,
Within 5 to
Just
10
be
feet
careful
from
what
the
you wish.
residential structure.
But as far from the right of way as you can get it.
This is ridiculous.
Chair, I motion to withdraw my legislation request.
I think we're here. We just were going to add one word, Mr. Heidick.
No, we're not almost there. This is going to go on for another half an hour.
Not
And it's
longer.
gonna be- You know what? Like I said, I'm withdrawing my request. Until everybody can get together and come to a consensus, put it on paper. I'm tired of talking about it. It's a trash can. We want them off the street. Pull your trash cans back. If you can't do it, call Kimball. I don't know what to tell you. It's ugly as hell. I'm sick of seeing it. We have 8 council and a council president. We have numerous people in the administration. Send us something else then. I don't care anymore. Just get the damn things off the sidewalk, the street, and let's make the city look a little bit better for... I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Heidick. We have no pending legislation. Is there any miscellaneous discussion? From the gallery? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 7:09 PM.
Thank you, Ms. Gerhart. Next up, City Utilities with Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call the meeting of the city utilities today to order. Today, May 27th, we are in council chambers. All members of my committee, Jennifer Hager, myself as chair, Emily Beck, and Justin Greer. Mrs. Hager is absent, and all others noted. We have no new requests for legislation at all for tonight, but we do have pending legislation that we'll be voting on tonight. Presented by Mr. Griffin, entitled Enter into Contract, Brown Equipment Company, DEC, and ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into contract with Brown Equipment Company, BEC, in the amount of $500,000 for the purchase of a new Ram Vac HX9TA and declaring an emergency. We'll be voting on it tonight. So, with that, anybody have any discussion for utilities? With that, I'll pass, Mr. President. I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Beck. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Justin and Mr. Greer. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:11. With that, I pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Last but not least, Finance and Personnel, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to bring the Finance and Personnel Committee to order. It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, 7:12 PM here in council chambers. All members of the committee are present, which includes myself as chair, Mr. Heidick, Mr. Griffin, President Greer. All other council members are also present with the exception of Mrs. Hager, who is absent, and guests are noted on my agenda sheet. We have several pieces of pending legislation this evening. The first being ordinance number 62-2025, title Authorized Payment, Ohio Edison. This would authorize the finance director to authorize payment in the amount of $14,898.59 to Ohio Edison for the removal of light poles on 2nd Street Northwest and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 63-2025, title amending ordinance number 47-2021, compensation for elected officials. This would amend the ordinance 47-2021 to establish the compensation for certain elected officials and compensation procedures for the next 4 years and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 65-2025, title Appropriation Parks Department, This would appropriate $3,000 from the unappropriated line item of the general fund to the Parks Administration operating and maintenance budget of the general fund and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 66-2025, title Appropriation Fire Department. This would appropriate $15,000 from the unappropriated line item of the general fund to the fire department's operation and maintenance budget and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 67-2025, title Authorized Payment Multi-Force Systems Corp. This would authorize the finance director to pay an invoice to Multi-Force Systems Corp. in the amount of $3,944 for the annual fuel serve contract and declaring an emergency. Are there any remarks on any of the pending legislation for finance and personnel? Is there any miscellaneous discussion for finance? Yes.
We talked about getting like an auto agree, so we can put like these bills and stuff on something we can all approve prior, so we don't have to go through this every week. Are we still doing anything with that?
That would go through rules.
Sorry, Ms. Gerhart. I know you're busy, so we'll bring that back up.
To group the legislation
Correct.
together
Just a
and
lot
vote
of
on it
that.
all at once.
There.
Yep.
Consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, consent agenda.
Yep.
What did we need to do with that, Mr. Heidick? Sorry.
You're okay.
Is that just an ordinance?
We can discuss.
Okay, never mind.
It's just a rule, we can just pass it.
That's right.
We suggest it to council.
Oh, it's in the
we pass
council
our-
rules.
Yep,
Sorry.
someone requested that, I sent it to everyone, it would go in the rules. You
That's
don't
right.
need to pass anything.
Okay. Sorry, the rules got put on the back, sorry, they're on the back burner again, because then we had charter come up.
Okay, is there any other miscellaneous discussion for finance and personnel? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
We adjourn at 7:50.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. That concludes our individual committee meetings for this evening. We're going to take a 10-minute break and we'll come back and begin our regular legislative meeting. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's get this knocked out of the park. Tink. Oh, blue pen. I left my drawer unlocked. All my blue pens are gone. Nope. I took one from the judge. Don't tell me. You're allowed. I got it.
Stealing from a judge?
Don't tell him. Good admission. All right. Today's Monday, May 27th, 2025. Today's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Oh, my gosh. No one caught me earlier. That's okay. All right, we'll start over. Today's a regular legislative meeting of Barberton City Council. Today is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. I call this meeting to order at 7:28 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation by Mrs. Thompson.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening asking for your guidance and wisdom, allowing us to have meaningful discussions and make decisions while remaining focused on what is best for our community. Please help us to always remember those who lost their lives while fighting for our freedom, as well as those fighting their own personal battles here at home every day. Please keep our military and first responders safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. Clerk, please call roll.
President Greer. Mr. Hyatt.
Here.
Mrs. Thompson.
Here.
Mrs. Hager is absent. Mr. Easterling.
Here.
Mr. Griffin.
Here.
Mrs. Beck.
Here.
Ms. Gerhart.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Here. Thank you. Can I get an approval of the minutes of the regular legislative meeting held on Monday, May 12th, 2025, as presented? Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve the minutes of the regular legislative meeting from Monday, May 12th, 2025.
Thank you. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to second Mr. Heidick's motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mr. Heidick and second by Mrs. Thompson to approve the minutes of the regular legislative meeting held on Monday, May 12th, 2025, as presented. Are there any remarks? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are adopted. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session held on Monday, May 12th, 2025, as presented. Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the minutes of the executive session from Monday, May 12th, 2025.
Thank you. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to second Mr. Heidick's motion to approve the minutes of the executive session.
All right, thank you. A motion was made by Mr. Heidick and second by Mrs. Thompson to approve the minutes of the executive session held on Monday, May 12th, 2025, as presented. Are there any remarks? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are adopted. Acceptance of the Finance Department report for the month of April 2025, as presented. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the acceptance of the finance report for the month of April 2025 as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second the motion to accept.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to accept the Finance Department report for the month of April 2025 as presented. Are there any remarks? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the finance report is accepted. Petitions and claims?
Yeah,
Matters requested?
they have all been dispersed.
Citizens addressing council. I didn't get a chance to get it. Okay. Nope. Is there anybody in the audience? Public citizens addressing council. All right. There are none. First reading of ordinances and resolutions.
Ordinance number 62-2025, presented by Mrs. Thompson and Mr. Heidick, titled Authorized Payment, Ohio Edison. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to authorize payment in the amount of $14,898.59 to Ohio Edison for the removal of light poles on 2nd Street Northwest and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Motion to suspend, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rule is required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you, and Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second Counselor Thompson's motion on suspension.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and seconded by Mr. Heidick to suspend the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent. Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt. Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 62-2025.
Thank you, and Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second the motion to adopt.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and seconded by Mr. Heidick to adopt ordinance number 62-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Motion for adoption carries.
Ordinance number 63-2025, presented by Mrs. Thompson, titled, amending ordinance number 47-2021, compensation for elected officials. An ordinance amending ordinance number 47-2021 to establish the compensation for certain elected officials and compensation procedures for the next 4 years and declaring an emergency.
I don't believe I submitted that as, Mrs. Thompson, was that read out as an emergency?
I don't remember, that's just the way it came down. You don't want an emergency, we'll reread it with it all.
I just want to make sure. It needs to be exactly like it was passed. I believe that was 3 readings, no emergency word.
I don't believe it had emergency wording on it,
All right.
but I don't have it.
When did we,
We'll do 3 readings on that.
Okay.
That was 3 readings. Is that okay with you, Chair?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Ordinance number 64-2025, presented by Mr. Griffin, title, enter into contract Brown Equipment Company, BEC. An ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into contract with Brown Equipment Company, BEC, in the amount of $500,000 for the purchase of a new Ramback HX9 TA and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Griffin.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you. And Mrs. Beck?
thank you, Mr. President. I would like to second Mr. Griffin's motion for suspension.
Thank you. Motion was made by Mr. Griffin and seconded by Mrs. Beck to suspend the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 64-2025.
Thank you. Mrs. Beck?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to second Mr. Griffin's motion for adoption.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mr. Griffin and seconded by Mrs. Beck to adopt ordinance number 64-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for adoption carries.
Ordinance number 65-2025, presented by Mrs. Thompson. Title, Appropriation Parks Department. An ordinance appropriating $3,000 from the unappropriated line item of the general fund to the Parks Administration operating and maintenance budget of the general fund and declaring an emergency.
Okay, motion to suspend, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rule is required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you. And Mr. Heidick?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second Counselor Thompson's motion on suspension.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and seconded by Mr. Heidick to suspend the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 65-2025.
Thank you, Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second the motion to adopt.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to adopt ordinance number 65-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for adoption carries.
Ordinance number 66-2025, presented by Mrs. Thompson. Title, Appropriation Fire Department. An ordinance appropriating $15,000 from the unappropriated line item of the general fund to the fire department's operation and maintenance budget and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Motion to suspend, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you, Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second Counselor Thompson's motion on suspension.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to suspend the rules required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 66-2025.
Thank you. Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second the motion to adopt.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to adopt ordinance number 66-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for adoption carries.
Ordinance number 67-2025, presented by Mrs. Thompson. Title, Authorized Payment, Multicore Systems Corporation. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to pay an invoice to Multicore Systems Corporate in the amount of $3,944 for the annual fuel serve contract and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Motion to suspend, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you, Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second Counselor Thompson's motion on suspension.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to suspend the rules required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mrs. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of ordinance number 67-2025.
Thank you, Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second the motion to adopt.
Thank you. Motion was made by Mrs. Thompson and second by Mr. Heidick to adopt ordinance number 67-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for adoption carries.
Resolution number 68-2025, presented by Mrs. Beck. Title, Adjusted Final Resolution, ODOT, PID 122321, North Van Buren. A resolution of the Council of the City of Barberton authorizing the mayor to revise the contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for the improvement of North Van Buren, PID 122321, in nearby area to install and rebuild sidewalk and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Motion to suspend, Mrs. Beck.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rule as required by section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter be suspended.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second Mrs. Beck's motion on suspension.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Beck and seconded by Mr. Harris to suspend the rule as required by Section 5.10 of the Barberton City Charter. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion for suspension carries. Motion to adopt. Mrs. Beck.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Resolution 68-2025.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second her motion.
Thank you. A motion was made by Mrs. Beck and seconded by Mr. Harris to adopt Resolution number 68-2025. Are there any remarks? Clerk, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr. Heidick?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Easterling?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager is absent.
Motion,
This ends the- oh, sorry, go ahead.
motion for adoption carries.
This ends the first reading.
Second reading of ordinances and resolutions.
We have none.
Third reading of ordinances and resolutions.
We have none.
Appointments,
We have none.
miscellaneous and unfinished business. Mr. Heidick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to excuse Counselor Hager from tonight's legislative meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion was made by Mr. Heidick and seconded by Mr. Easterling to excuse Mrs. Hager from tonight's legislative meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
All right. Mrs. Hager is excused. Communication from the body. Is there anything from the body? Anything from department heads? I don't have anything. Communication from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank everyone who attended the Change for Change event this last Friday. Over $450 for Quilts of Valor here in town was raised. Thanks to the Barberton VFW for hosting and for everyone who attended. Memorial Day event yesterday. I want to thank the council members and city staff who attended, and of course the public. Beautiful weather, and it was one of the largest gatherings of the event that I've seen in a long time. Special thanks to the Barberton VFW Post 1066 for all they do in setting that up. The Barberton High School Band and Choir always do a great job, and I think it's really important to have the youth involved. A number of years ago, students from the high school would research Barberton military personnel who had lost their lives, and they would give a report. You know, this person grew up at this address. So it really made it real. It was personal. They grew up right there, and they went to high school, and they graduated in this year, and they went in this branch of the armed forces. And I hope we get back to that, because it really brought a lot of memories back for people, the public who knew the family or that individual, and it really made it real. And I think it's important for the kids to understand that. We take a lot of these liberties for granted, and people have to be reminded of the sacrifices that were made. So appreciate everyone who was a part of it. A couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, Councilman Easterling reached out to me. We've seen in town where there's a utility pole and a broken utility pole strapped to it. So Mr. Easterling, Councilman Easterling was like, hey, let's get these taken care of. So reached out, heard back today. First Energy is waiting for the other service providers to remove their lines from those. So they said they'll strap it to the new pole, but it could be a telephone wire, could be a cable wire, fiber, or something like that. So they have to wait for them. I don't have a time frame to do that, or for them to do that. I don't know what their process is, but that's the response I got. So I wanted to let you know, Mr. Easterling. I don't know if all of council was on that email or not, but I figured I'd let everyone know. Farmers Market opened up today. Great turnout this afternoon over at the Orange Lot there. Also today we had a Main Street Heritage Ohio meeting. Thought it was a great meeting. The director of Heritage Ohio, Francis Joe, was here. Led us in a great discussion talking about the structure of Main Street and navigating through the process of building downtown, the footprint. So looking for more as we continue with the Main Street mission. Wanted to let council know the Trushin Farm update, continuing with the meetings and the discussion on that development moving forward. If you recall, there was a pledge of $150,000 to be split evenly between our safety services. That check has been received and deposited, so that's all good. Our Board of Health meeting tomorrow, that will be held downstairs in the mayor's conference room. In terms of the proposed charter amendments, we really need to talk these things through. So my question is, what's the plan? There's a lot of addition of positions, proposed additions of positions, at the same time eliminating the building department. So what's the plan? Eliminating the building department eliminates revenue. You're adding expenses and responsibilities, but cutting revenue. So what's the plan? What's the plan to pay for these new positions? What's the plan to make up the lost revenue from eliminating the building department? What's the plan when we want to add employees for property maintenance, and how do we pay for them? If the building department is eliminated, what's the plan? Without a building department, does this mean there's no requirement to have a permit to do anything that you need to do that you used to have to? Remember, the county is under no obligation to accept us. Neither is anyone else that has a building department. So what's the plan? If there's no requirement for permits, inspections, or plan reviews, does this violate the ORC? Does this violate the state building standards? What happens to homeowners' insurance rates, fire calls for service, scams on our residents, especially when there's no building department or contractor registration? What's the plan? If this is approved, do we negotiate with the county and others with building departments? How long will that take? What happens in the meantime? How does this affect our employees? What happens when employees are laid off and the bumping rights kick in? How long does that stretch out? How does this affect the other departments? What's the plan? What's the true goal that this proposed charter amendment change, what's the true goal? So I would love to have a conversation about that and see how we can work through these things and put a plan together. I don't know about not having a building department, what that does, if that violates anything at the state level with building standards or ORC or anything else. If we don't have to have anything to negotiate with an existing building department with, we're totally at their mercy. So what's the plan? Again, what's the true goal of this proposed charter change? And I'd love to sit down and talk about that. So that's all I have. Yes.
Thanks, Mayor. You mentioned the ratchet straps on the poles. I've seen ratchet strap on some of these poles for damn near a year. That's not safe. Like, I thank Councilman Easterly for bringing this up, but yeah, it's not temporary. They're not waiting in that case. I mean, I don't know the circumstances, but I've seen the telephone poles like strapped.
There's some where it's maybe just a few feet, it's all the way up at the top, and
Yeah.
it's hard to notice unless you're looking for it. There's others that are maybe just 10, 15 feet off the ground, and it's a much larger pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, it's not temporary. I don't know what their plan is, but
Yeah,
we'll look into
okay.
that some more.
We'll just stay on them.
So I heard back today, so I want to give an update.
All right, thanks, Mayor.
Mayor, I have one just quick. Just a quick one, because most of council wasn't here when this happened. It has to make you giggle a little bit when someone else is getting beat up for having color coding on a thing when 2 years ago it was, when you would answer our emails, you had red highlights over black letters, and everybody beat the hell out of you because none of us could read it. And now,
I remember, I believe you were the only one that beat me up.
Carol Fry did too. She did too. She may not publicly, but I know that.
It looked good on my screen.
Had to make you giggle a little bit to see somebody else getting beat up.
I typically don't giggle, but I understand the sentiment.
Everybody giggles.
All right, with nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn, Mr. Heidick?
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will second that motion to adjourn.
Thank you. It's moved by Mr. Heidick and seconded by Mrs. Thompson that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Didn't think so. This meeting is adjourned at 7:51 p.m. Thank you.
Short one tonight.
No, I need a...
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That's short.
Yeah.